What's up, guys? Team Stamp West. What a crazy off season it has been already for so many pros. I saw a cool video that Anhyzer TV did on what would Paul throw, and so I thought I would just kind of chime in and if Paul's going to Discraft, what would his bag kind of look like? And I think we first look at probably what he throws the most. So first we were going to look at the Destroyer. And this is just from Discraft's current lineup, so that's not to say there might not be some new, maybe some new stuff coming out. We'll have to see on that, but just on what's out right now, what would Paul's bag kind of start to look like? I think the quickest replacement for a Destroyer is a Force. Force is a little bit flatter, kind of through the mid-flight, but I think if you look at ESP Forces, those are going to have a little bit more of that mid-flight flex, closer to a Destroyer. We see a lot of the big arms from Discraft throwing Forces. Austin Turner, Tim throws nukes. A couple of the guys throw cranks too, but Paul likes his driver stable, so I think he's probably going to go with the Force. From the current lineup, we look at the Thunderbird. The direct replacement for that is a Vulture. When the Vulture was created, it was created as basically as like a little bit more glidey, little worked in Thunderbird, and that is exactly what it is, with the variety of different plastics. The test flights ones being a little bit more flippy, and then the TI and the Z being a little more stable. You got really a good range of stabilities in the Vulture to quickly replace the Thunderbird. You take a look at the Rock 3, which is a Wasp, I would say. I know Anhyzer TV said it's probably a Buzz OS, but I think a Buzz OS is probably a little bit more stable than a Rock 3. Even in his video, he mentions it's got a little bit more glide before it finishes, and that's basically what a Wasp is. I think we're going to see a Buzz for sure. If he's throwing Discraft, obviously, again, there's a range of stabilities with the plastics in buzzes, and so I imagine he'll probably have three buzzes in a Discraft bag. And then we take a look at the AVR, and this was a tough one for me because Challengers are really what a lot of the big guys are using, but I think the closest thing really to an AVR is probably a Roach. I don't know if Paul's going to throw Roaches. It's kind of maybe a goofy name for the Paul McBeth, but maybe something retooled, maybe with a little bit different name or something. But Roaches are really similar flight to AVRs, beadless AVR basically. I mean, a little bit shallower, kind of mid stability, and for Paul's kind of nice little flatter hyzer putt should be perfect. And then if we look at T-Bird 3s as well, the Undertaker is just a little bit more stable T-Bird. That's what it's always been compared to since it came out, and T-Bird 3 is a little bit more stable T-Bird, so pretty easy transition there. And then I have zero doubt in my mind if Paul was throwing Discraft, he's going to have a zone in the bag. Probably more than one plastic a zone. I imagine you have a Z zone, a Jawbreaker zone. Who knows? Maybe he's got an X-Soft zone in there, a Pro D zone. You can't beat a zone, and I am certain if Paul was throwing Discraft, he'd have a zone in his bag. That really covers all the big ones. Maybe we'll see something else like a Mantis is a little bit less stable fairway. A little something that he could probably carve lines with. But Paul's got a really good forehand, so I imagine he'll probably stick with kind of mid stability or more stable stuff as well. Might see a Punisher in there, a little bit straighter for forehands. Probably see a Buzz OS as a little bit more glidey zone. I'm not sure that Paul would need a Buzz OS in his bag unless it was windy. Something maybe he'll swap in. What are you doing, dog? Something maybe he'll swap in for windy conditions or something. And I can't see Paul throwing cranks. The other drivers aren't quite as popular with the Surge or the Surge SS. Don't really see those. The Heat is kind of a understable Heat and Sting or understable fairways, and I just don't see Paul really throwing those. And it seems like Paul's bag, he usually keeps it pretty simple. So when I think we look down the list at a Force, a Vulture, Wasp and a Buzz, Roach, Undertaker, Zone, there'll probably be a couple other fillers in there. But I imagine if I were to take my best guess on what Paul McBeth would throw in a Discraft lineup, I think that about sums it up. Curious kind of what you guys think, as especially people who know the Discraft lineup and maybe know the Innova lineup better than I do. What you guys think he might throw, but that would be my best guess. We'll see. We'll wait and see. We got to see where he's going first.